Hello. Welcome everyone to the first ever Alluring Tranquility podcast. I'm your host, Faith, and I'm sending peace, stillness, and a grounding energy to wherever you're listening from today. If you're sitting in your creative studio surrounded by the sweet aroma of melting butters, or measuring out botanicals, or simply unwinding after a hectic week of work, life, and creating, welcome. Hopefully you can pull up a comfy chair, take a deep centering breath, and let go of the chaos. You might be wondering, what is Alluring Tranquility and what is this woman going to go on about? Alluring Tranquility is the name of my business. I settled on it after a few false starts, so to speak. I've actually been in business since 2020 under a few different names, but I think that I have finally found my place in the skincare and makeup creation world. I have done everything from epoxy tumblers, sublimation tumblers, DTF clothing, sublimation clothing, and the thing that settled me down and left me feeling at home and at peace is skincare. So I'd like for you to think of this time as a dedicated sanctuary for you to be able to slow down, breathe deeply, and reconnect with the profound intelligence of mindful creation. So we're going to embark on a journey every week. We're going to deep dive into a different ingredient, some of my favorites, some of the ones that I'm not so fond of. We're going to talk about some of the things that I've created. I'm more than happy to give out recipes if you want to try them. Anything that I can do to help a new creator get off the ground. I want people to know that it doesn't need to be scary. I mean, it is, but it doesn't need to be. Today, we're going to open up the Alluring Tranquility studio, and we're going to do a deep dive into what I feel is one of the most famous or infamous ingredients that you will use in your skincare journey. We're going to look at coconut oil. So coconut oil has been elevated to almost a mythical status as a cure-all that can solve every beauty dilemma from head to toe, yet it can and will be blacklisted at the same time by a dermatologist as a pore clogging hazard. So today, we're going to strip away the loud marketing noise, the social media trends, and the skincare myths. We are going to look at the formulation realities for this tropical powerhouse that is coconut. We're going to explore how this single oil behaves across the entire spectrum of artisan product creation. We'll cover why it can transform a bar of cold processed soap or natural soap into a foaming luxury, but will still spell absolute disaster for a facial moisturizer. To understand how an ingredient behaves on the skin or hair, you must first understand its molecular structure. You cannot formulate with intention until you know exactly what is happening at a chemical level. In all transparency, I am not a chemist. I just like to research things and learn things. So here's what I've learned. Coconut oil, it's a cold pressed or expeller pressed oil from the meat of the coconut harvested from the palm tree. When you hold raw virgin coconut oil in your hands at normal room temperature, it feels completely different from liquid plant oils like sunflower, argan, or grapeseed oil. It is a solid, pearlescent white fat that behaves almost like a soft butter. The solid to liquid transformation happens at a very specific temperature, 76 degrees Fahrenheit. The moment your environment or your skin drops below that number, the oil locks into a rigid, crystalline structure. The second it climbs above, the crystals melt instantly into a crystal clear, low viscosity liquid. This sharp phase change is a vital tool for formulators. The secret to why it behaves this way lies in the fatty acid profile. Unlike many liquid vegetable oils that are rich in unsaturated fluid fats, coconut oil is composed of roughly 90% saturated fatty acids. So in organic chemistry, saturated fatty acids have single bonds between their carbon atoms. This allows their molecular change to be straight and linear. Because they're straight, they can pack tightly together like bricks in a wall, which is why the oil stays solid at a cooler temperature. So we're going to break down the fatty acid profile of coconut oil because this dictates everything it does. First, we have the undisputed king of coconut oil, lauric acid. Lauric acid represents approximately 49% of the total oil profile. Lauric acid is a medium chain fatty acid, and it's a biological powerhouse. It has an incredibly high affinity for proteins and features unique antimicrobial, antibacterial, and antifungal properties. Next comes myristic acid at about 18%. This specific acid provides exceptional cleansing properties when turned into soap, while offering great slip and structural body in leave-on applications. Then we have palmitic acid sitting at around 8%. This is a heavier saturated fat that mirrors the skin's natural lipid barrier, providing excellent structure and protection against dryness. And the remaining profile consists of short-chain caprylic and capric acids, a small dash of monosaturated oleic acid, and a very tiny 2% fraction of polyunsaturated linoleic acid. Because it contains so little linoleic acid, coconut oil is highly resistant to oxidation. It can sit on your formulation shelf for up to 2 years without going rancid, making it an incredible, reliable base ingredient. So now that we understand the chemistry, let's address the big question that every clean beauty brand and conscious consumer runs into. Can I use coconut oil in my daily face cream, or is it going to cause a major breakout? So we're going to look a little bit at the science. In cosmetic chemistry, we evaluate every single oil or butter on a standardized comedogenic scale ranging from 0 to 5. So 0 is completely non-comedogenic. It will not clog your pores at all. 1 is very, very low on the comedogenic scale, and it has a very low probability of clogging pores. 2 is moderately low on the comedogenic scale, so it is safe for most skin types. 3 is a moderate on the comedogenic scale. It can cause congestion and clogging in acne-prone individuals. 4 is highly comedogenic, which means there is a very high probability that a comedogenic oil at a 4, or that sits at a 4, is going to clog your pores. And 5 is severely comedogenic, which is almost a guarantee that it's going to cause acne. Coconut oil, my friends, sits at a resounding 4 out of 5 on this scale. And that's because of those tightly packed, straight chain, saturated fatty acids, specifically the combination of lauric, myristic, and palmitic acids. Coconut oil creates a highly cohesive, heavy film when applied to the skin. On the body, this is fantastic. That's what you want when you're dealing with summer skin that's completely dried out from being in chlorinated pools, or winter skin from the harsh cold winds. But on your face, we maybe want to step back for a minute. The skin on your face has an incredibly high density of sebaceous glands, which are microscopic exocrine glands in the skin that secrete sebum. Sebum is an oily, waxy substance that your skin creates. When you apply a leave-on face cream that contains a high percentage of coconut oil, that heavy occlusive layer sits directly over your pores. It traps the sebum, sweat, pollution, and the dead keratinized skin cells underneath it. And the lack of breathability that you're going to see with that coconut oil, it creates an ideal suffocating environment, promoting the bacteria for acne. If you're prone to breakouts, oiliness, or combination skin, coconut oil can lead to blackheads, whiteheads, or very deep cystic blemishes. If your goal as a creator or as a user is to build a facial moisturizer that imparts a fresh, youthful radiance, you want to avoid coconut oil entirely. Instead, look to non-comedogenic alternatives. Consider jojoba oil, which is technically a liquid wax ester that closely mimics the human skin's natural sebum, helping to balance oil production. Or choose squalene, which is a light, completely stable lipid that provides deep moisture without suffocating the pores. Or rosehip seed oil, which is rich in polyunsaturated linoleic acid, and that brings a dynamic brightness and nourishment to the skin. Let's put coconut oil to work in the areas that require this type of power product. Now that we have clear boundaries set for facial care, you want to use this powerhouse on the skin on your body, especially your arms, legs, elbows, and torso. Your body is anatomically very different from the skin on your face. It is thicker, it has far fewer sebaceous glands, and is consistently exposed to the elements, friction from clothing, and drying environmental factors. One of the greatest strengths of coconut oil is the ability to combat transepidermal water loss, or T-wall. When your skin barrier becomes compromised due to dry weather, harsh body washes, or basic aging, the microscopic lipids that hold your skin cells together begin to deplete. This allows deep hydration to evaporate into the air, leaving your skin dry, flaky, and dull. Who hasn't experienced dry, dull skin at some point? Because of the heavy saturated fat content, coconut oil does act as a highly effective emollient and occlusive barrier. It fills in the gaps between your skin cells. It smooths down flakiness and will lock in moisture deep within the tissue. Additionally, we cannot ignore the therapeutic benefits of its high lauric acid content. When you apply coconut oil to irritated or compromised skin, it doesn't just moisturize, it provides a clean, protected environment for the skin to heal naturally. It acts as a shield against environmental stressors, making it a reliable choice for rich body lotions, deep moisturizing creams, and protective salves. Let's enter the artisan studio for a minute and let's talk about formulating across different product lines. So when you're talking about cold processed soap, coconut oil adds a hardness and a rich lather. And to achieve that, you want to have between 15 and 25% of the total oils and butters to be coconut oil. When talking about heel balms and salves, coconut oil adds heavy occlusion and shield. And to achieve this, you want to have between 30 and 50% of your total oils and butters to be coconut oil. Lotions and body butters, when we're looking at that, Coconut oil gives your product that great melt-on contact sensation. To achieve this, you want between 10 and 30% of your total oils and butters to be coconut oil. Sugar scrubs, coconut oil as a great suspension base for the scrub. To achieve this, you want to have between 40 and 60% of your total oils and butters to be coconut oil. Welcome back to the studio, my friends. Let's look at soap making in the laboratory. This is where coconut undergoes a complete molecular transformation. In cold process soap making, we're not simply blending raw ingredients together, we're managing a chemical reaction. It's called saponification. When you combine plant oils with an alkali, specifically for a soap bar, you want sodium hydroxide or lye dissolved in water. The lye then cleaves the glycerol backbone off the fatty acids, converting them into sodium salts. This reaction creates an entirely new substance, and this is natural soap or cold process soap. Every single oil that you select for your soap recipe contributes a distinct property for the final bar. For example, olive oil provides exceptional conditioning, but doesn't produce a very good lather. It's very low lather, almost slimy. Castor oil provides excellent bubble stability. And coconut oil provides structural strength and performance. When coconut oil undergoes saponification, its high concentration of lauric and myristic acids converts to sodium laurate and sodium myristate. These two molecular salts are responsible for two critical characteristics in the bar soap: unmatched hardness and an incredibly fluffy, voluminous lather. There is a very important caveat with this that every artisan soap maker must respect. And again, you will see this when working in soap calc or some other calculator, and you will find these soap calculators all over. Brambleberry has one. Soap calc is the one that I use. You'll find them all over. Most places that sell natural soaping products have some sort of calculator that you can use to formulate your soap. So the caveat with coconut oil, and we talked about this earlier, it cleans with extreme efficiency. So sodium laurate has an exceptionally strong affinity for oils. And if the percentage of coconut oil in your soap recipe is too high, it will not only strip away surface dirt, it will also wash away the skin's natural protective lipid barrier. And this can leave skin feeling tight, itchy, dry, and irritated after a shower. So again, to create a balanced, skin-loving bar of soap, a good rule of thumb is to cap your coconut oil usage between 15 and 25% of the total blend. You'll see that when you're working in your calculator. Now, let's move away from the wash-off products a little and discuss leave-on artisan body care, starting with one of my absolute favorite targeted treatments, heel balms. The anatomy of our feet, it's entirely unique. The skin on your heels is remarkably thick, and that's to withstand constant impact. And there are absolutely zero sebaceous glands in your feet. Because it cannot produce its own oils, your feet rely on external moisture to maintain their elasticity. When your feet are neglected, the thick skin dries out, loses its flexibility, and splits into deep, painful cracks. And this is where coconut oil truly shines. When you formulate a dedicated heel balm, you can use a much higher percentage of coconut oil, often between 30 to 50% of your formula. And when you blend it with structural elements like natural beeswax and rich seed butters, coconut oil creates a heavy, durable shield that stays put. It fills in those deep micro cracks, softens tough calluses, and its natural properties help keep the skin clean and protected. It's an exceptional ingredient for high performance foot care. So now we're going to shift focus to whipped body butters and emulsified lotions. In an anhydrous whipped body butter, such as a blend of shea, mango, and cocoa butters, coconut oil provides what is known as the melt-on contact effect. Because, again, its melting point is 76 degrees Fahrenheit, a whipped butter containing coconut oil looks like a fluffy, dense cream or frosting in a jar. But the moment a scoop touches your warm skin, your body heat triggers that melting point, causing the butter to dissolve instantly into a smooth liquid that glides effortlessly across the skin. However, you must keep this formulation tip in mind. If your body butter contains too much coconut oil, it can leave a greasy, heavy residue that takes a very long time to absorb. To solve this like a professional formulator, balance your recipe by incorporating a small percentage of a natural starch like arrowroot powder. You can use this at around 1 to 2% of your total weight, or blend it with a lightweight dry ester like isopropyl myristate. This cuts through the heavy feel of the saturated fats, giving your whipped butter a velvety, high-end matte finish. In emulsified lotion, where water and oil are brought together with an emulsifying wax, coconut oil adds excellent body and stability, as well as thickness, to the cream. It gives the lotion a rich feel upon application, though it should be combined with fluid oils like sweet almond or apricot kernel oil to ensure a balanced, comfortable skin feel. Let's talk about an indispensable product in any artisan bath line, the sugar scrub. Have you ever purchased a natural sugar scrub only to open the jar and find the oil floating in a thick pool at the top while the sugar has settled into a rock-hard, immovable brick at the bottom? This separation happens when a scrub is formulated exclusively with fluid liquid oils like sunflower oil, olive oil, or canola oil. These oils lack the structural density to hold the heavy exfoliating granules in place. This is where coconut oil acts as a fantastic natural stabilizer. Because it semi-solidifies at standard room temperatures, it forms a soft, cohesive matrix that holds the organic sugar granules in a perfectly uniform suspension. It creates a stable, scoopable texture that won't separate on a retail shelf or in your bathroom. When you scoop that scrub out of the jar and apply it to damp skin in a warm shower, the thermodynamics change completely. The combination of warm water and your natural body heat instantly breaks down the coconut oil's crystalline structure. It melts down completely, allowing the sugar granules to glide smoothly over your skin without scratching or causing irritation. As the sugar gently removes dead, dull skin cells from the surface, the melting coconut oil steps in immediately to condition the newly exposed skin. When you rinse the scrub away, the sugar dissolves completely. You step out of the shower with skin that feels completely exfoliated, soft, and beautifully conditioned, completely eliminating the need for an extra lotion step. So we're going to explore another area of specialized skincare that requires careful attention. Just like your heels, your lips have a completely unique anatomical structure. The skin on our lips is incredibly thin, consisting of only 3 to 5 cellular layers, compared to the 15 to 16 layers on the rest of the face. The lips contain no sweat glands and no sebaceous glands, meaning they have no natural method for creating a protective hydrolipid film. They are highly susceptible to drying out. When you introduce coconut oil into a lip balm or a gentle lip scrub, its rapid melting behavior provides immediate relief to dry skin. It offers an elegant glide that prevents the balm from dragging across sore, sensitive lips, leaving behind a subtle, flattering radiance. Its lauric acid content also helps keep chapped or split lips protected while they recover. Now, as a formulator, you must account for its low melting point. If you create a lip balm using primarily coconut oil, it will soften too much in a pocket or a car during the warmer months, and it will evaporate off the lips too quickly to offer long-term hydration. To create a successful artisan lip balm, coconut oil must be paired with a firm, structural component. You want to combine it with hard botanical waxes, such as beeswax or candula wax, which provide structural integrity and a higher melting point. Pair these with slow-absorbing, protective butters like shea butter or cocoa butter. The wax creates a durable barrier on the lips that holds the coconut oil in place, allowing it to provide deep, continuous hydration over several hours. For our final technical segment today, we're stepping into the field of hair care. This is where coconut oil reveals an extraordinary property that separates it from almost every other vegetable oil on earth. In hair science, oils are fundamentally divided into two distinctive groups based on how they interact with the hair shaft: coating oils and penetrating oils. Coating oils like jojoba, argan, and broccoli seed oil have large, bulky, complex molecular structures. They can't fit beneath the protective outer cuticle scales of the hair strand. Instead, they sit smoothly on the surface, sealing the cuticle down, reducing frizz, and acting like a shield to add external shine. They're excellent for surface styling. Coconut oil, however, is a premier penetrating oil. It doesn't simply coat the surface, it travels deep into the hair shaft, past the outer cuticle, and embeds itself directly inside the inner core, known as the cortex. So, how does it achieve this, you wonder? It all comes down to its chemical structure. As we established, coconut oil is predominantly made up of lauric acid. Lauric acid has a completely straight, compact molecular chain and a very low molecular weight. Crucially, it possesses a strong chemical affinity for hair proteins. Your hair is composed of a tough, fibrous protein called keratin. Because lauric acid is small and structurally linear, it easily slips between the overlapping scales of the hair cuticle, binding directly to the internal protein chains inside the cortex. This molecular ability makes coconut oil a powerful defense against hygral fatigue, which I had never heard of until doing this research. Every time you wash your hair, the hair shaft absorbs water and swells up like a sponge. As it dries, it shrinks back down to its normal size. The continuous swelling and contracting places incredible structural stress on the hair shaft, on the hair fiber, eventually causing the cuticle scales to lift, crack, and break. And this is how you get split ends, brittleness, and chronic frizz. By applying a coconut oil treatment to your hair before you wash it, the oil occupies the space within the cortex. So, do any of you out there remember your mom or maybe even your grandmom who would have in their bathroom a cup, and they would place these little tubes of oil in hot water and then put that in their hair before they took a shower? I think they were like VO5 treatments. I remember my mom having them. That's kind of what this is telling you, is Back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, our parents knew all of this already. So, by applying the coconut oil before you wash your hair, the oil does occupy the space within the cortex. Because oil and water repel each other, the embedded coconut oil prevents the hair shaft from absorbing excess water. This controls the swelling process during the washing, and it protects the hair's internal protein structure, which then it helps to maintain its natural strength. Coconut oil, however, is not suitable for every hair type. Because it fills the hair shaft so effectively and it binds to those proteins, it can cause a buildup on certain hair textures. If you have very fine hair, low porosity hair, or hair that is naturally protein dense or naturally oily, coconut oil can overload those strands, and instead of leaving the hair soft and manageable, it can make hair feel stiff, brittle, rough, and weighed down. Coconut oil is truly at home when used on thick, coarse, curly, or high porous hair types that need internal structural support and deep moisture sealing. For these textures, it does add exceptional elasticity, bounce, and a beautiful shine. So when formulating artisan hair care products like solid conditioner bars or rich hair masks, balance is everything. If you're designing a general hair serum, avoid using pure coconut oil. Instead, blend its deep penetrating properties with lightweight surface coating oils like camellia seed oil or argan oil. This combination ensures your product will deliver both internal structural support and a weightless, smooth finish on the outside. I think it's truly remarkable when you look at everything that I talked about and think about maybe some of the things that you've heard that I didn't mention. There is so much depth, science, and artistry that can be found within a single nature-provided ingredient. When we take the time to step away from surface trends and look closely at the molecular reality of an oil like coconut oil, we unlock the true potential of intentional creation. Today, we talked about how there are no inherently perfect or imperfect ingredients in skincare. There are only ingredients used in the right context, at the right percentages, for the right parts of our perfectly unique bodies. Understanding these details is what transforms a simple hobby into a true craft, and a standard routine into a meaningful ritual of self-care. So whether you're formulating a beautifully balanced bar of soap for your shop, whipping up a rich butter for the winter months, or simply choosing the right products to care for your own hair and skin, remember to create with intention, honor the science behind the botanicals, and listen to what your body is telling you. I would like to thank you so much for spending this time with me inside my studio today. It's been an absolute joy to share this time with you. If today brought even a small amount of clarity to your formulation bench or inspired your personal care routine, please take a brief moment to subscribe, leave a thoughtful review, and share the products with a friend who appreciates the beauty of natural science. Until next time, be gentle with yourselves, enjoy the process of creation, and continue to bring a little more peace and radiance into the world. Bye-bye for now.